Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another Art in Conversation as part of National Association of Women Artists, NAWA. Our today artist and NAWA member is Erika Tribe. Erika, welcome to our conversation.
Thank you, Karen. Farron. Thank you so much for having me on this call. I'm really excited to talk with you.
Thank you, and we are excited to see your work and hear your story about your artwork and about your beautiful work in life. So, would you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you started as an artist, and what type of art you're doing or you identify with?
Sure. So, like many of us, I have been doing art my whole life. I have a love for drawing, I've always had, and wonderful teachers through the years, wonderful mentors. I grew up in Maine in a little town and got accepted to RISD in high school. And I was so excited, but I couldn't afford to go. And so from that point, my career went off for 30 years and I worked in the high tech sector after going to Harvard University Extension School. But I kept doing art and taking classes and going to continuing ed and figure drawing and all of this type of thing. And then about a year ago, 13 months ago, I got laid off from my job in technology, along with more than 2,000 other people. And for me, that was a moment where I could say, okay, I'm just going to give it a shot. And then I had a series of events that happened in rapid succession right around then to allow me to really to focus on this full time.
hmm So when a door closed, another door's open,
Exactly. You never know, right?
Yeah, you never know. That's awesome. What type of art you doing?
I make paintings using acrylic paint markers on wood panel. And I'd like to tell you kind of how I got started with this because this medium is not a traditional medium for painting. There are a couple of little video clips that are embedded that people can see what it's like when I'm using them later on in the slides. But they look like pens, but they're filled with paint. And I paint almost exclusively in plein air or on site. I like to paint places. And this really started before in my last job, if you want to go to the next slide, in my last job at a company called UKG, I ran an awards program. I created an awards program, an internal program. And as part of the awards, we created art, and pieces of art were given to the award winners. And I still can't believe the company funded this. It was so wonderful. But these are subway car models. They're about 20 inches long, 5 inches high. And I painted these using acrylic paint markers. This is a medium that a lot of graffiti writers use to do like really fine details or others. So that's really how I got started with this. And then the 12-inch size, if you want to click to the next slide, most of my paintings are 1 square foot. And this started with the Newport Art Museum wet paint auction. Last summer, they required that all the pieces be 12 inch by 12 inch. And so I started made a couple of these using acrylic paint markers, and I just love it. I love the size. I love the square shape, the small portable panels I can take with me anywhere. These are the first two that I did about a year
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. So before this, you never paint or you painted just as a hobby with
Oh, I
different.
painted a lot and I drew a lot. So
Okay.
and I still think of this, paintings come out the other end, but I'm really drawing.
Okay.
I always have drawn my whole life. I still do a lot of figure drawing and portraits. I didn't include that here because I think of it as more about my practice as opposed to what I'm creating to
Yeah.
the deliverable, so to speak. But yeah, I've been doing the drawing and painting all my life, but I didn't really start showing. I had my work in a gallery for the first time about 15 months ago.
Okay.
And then I started doing this full time about 13 months ago.
Okay. So now, okay, as a professional artist, you started recently. I mean,
I
your
did.
work are beautiful. I never tried actually. I paint with acrylic, but I never did paint marker, and I have no idea even how to work with it. I have to try it. But your work are quite realistic. I mean, when I scanned through your website, I had to stop and see if they are painting, and I checked to see, what media you use.
Yeah, they do look realistic. That I think that's my style. It
Okay.
takes me a long time to make one.
Yeah.
So some of the paintings that I'll be showing, they take anywhere from 10 to 20 hours to make them. I do them on site or in plein air, and I
Mhm.
really thrive on that. The things are changing all the time, as you know, when you're working from life.
Yeah.
People move things, a plant grows, people come in and out.
Yeah.
I was just painting yesterday in someone's garden, and he said, I'm going to take that tree out, but I'm going to wait for you to finish. And I said, take it out if you want to take it out. I will adapt. So that's just part of
Yeah, I mean, it's because yeah, as you said, it's even the light change in, So, I see your work, majority of your work are about spacing, or you painted the space. What actually inspire you, attract you into this particular subject?
I like I'm inspired by the life around me, and it's the spaces that nature creates or that people create. They all have their own energy. And some places I love, I just feel the vibe or I connect with the place or the people in the place so much I go back over and over again and I keep
Yeah.
painting there. Other places I'd paint once and I never want to go back.
Okay.
It's just different. I feel that energy. And there's some of the examples I'll show you in a bit. Like a large part of it's the people, right? It's the
Yeah.
people who welcome me into their space. I did a whole series. If in fact, if you wouldn't mind, click to the next
Do
slide.
you mind? I want to actually show this
Sure.
here in your website. I mean, because your website is quite easy to navigate, and I was just working about checking this working spaces series.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
noticed you have a huge selection of this working space.
Yep.
And so this is you choose or people asking you to paint their working space, how these things work.
It's always I choose.
Okay.
And so I started doing these for a show. I had my very first gallery sh solo show in January, and the show was called Working Spaces. So last winter, I did a whole bunch of these, and I worked really hard over the holidays to get enough work done. So some of these are art studios, which of course, some of these are other kinds of working spaces, restaurants or some museums. Um, I like industrial environments,
Mhm.
shops. So, and then these two down here towards the left, my husband's crafting room, and then my home office.
Okay.
I got sick during that time, so I couldn't go out of the house.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll just paint what I have here, and
Okay.
worked on those.
The whole
Each
process happened there, or you sketch and come back you in your studio?
It in most my I usually I go to a place 3 times. I usually spend about 3 hours there. Sometimes I can't, and I do have to work from home, and I'll work from a reference photo. But usually my strong preference is to work there. This one, I had to go work from home a lot because it was 24 degrees out.
Yeah.
It was winter. I was in a horse barn. I did what I could, and there were, you know, fuzzy dogs that would come up and keep my feet
Yeah.
warm, and I had hand warmers, but I couldn't work there for very long. So here I went back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering. we're just checking this because I taking my dog for horseback riding. So I said
Yeah,
that's actually interesting how you work on that environment because it's not
yeah.
easy with animal and everything.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
not easy.
and
And
I saw even when you work on, like, for example, this series, most of your work are around spacing, indoor, outdoor. And one thing actually came to my mind, why you don't have any figures like in either of your spacing, either workspace or landscape. And I saw you have figurative work, so I know you can work. But why you don't combine? Is there a reason there is no, for example, animal or human or anything in your work?
yeah, there are two reasons for it. One of the reasons is when there's a human figure in the painting, p- um, it changes its relevance somehow.
Hmm.
So even if a space like this is very specific, it's a specific ambulance, it still can be genericized. Someone could look at it and say, oh yeah, that looks like, the rescues around that I see around. But if there's a firefighter in that picture, or if there's a horseback rider, people look at that human and it means something
Exactly.
different. That's the
Yeah.
first. The second reason is I don't think I'm that good at it yet. I do go to a lot of figure drawing and portrait sessions, and I'm working hard on that part of my practice. And when I get better at it, then I'll start including more figures.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
at
I
this
think you are good. I see some of your figures and
point,
good. I would just, but actually, the first thing you explain, it really makes sense because when you put figures, no matter what type of figures you put, animal or human, you automatically attracted to that figures rather than to see the space.
yeah,
So to
exactly.
concentrate and see the space, yeah, that makes sense. Not to have other thing to distract the view.
And also the people are there by extension, right? So even if you look at these two, you can see that people were there. They're moving the plants around. There's an empty plate. There's some dead leaves. The fishing boat, like the evidence of people is there,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I
Makes
like
sense. So
that.
that their mark is there,
Right.
but they themselves are not the subject of this work. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this story, so last summer, so the woman on the left in this picture is Jean Tagney. She's a wonderful artist and teacher and mentor. And I take portrait drawing classes with her. Last summer, she was really interested in these little paintings I was doing, and she bought a couple of them. And she said, Erica, do you want to show your work in galleries? And I said, well, yes, of course. So she took those two little paintings down to the gallery where she shows her work in Newport, Rhode Island. It's the Jessica Hagen Gallery. And the next thing I knew, I was signed on, and Jessica asked me if I wanted to have a solo show. And I said,
Mhm.
of course.
Yeah.
So I had about 5 weeks to create 12 or 13 paintings. I forget how many I had to do, but I worked a lot to get a lot of these workspaces done. And it was just such a gift to have this relationship and this opportunity to show in a gallery, to meet the people I've met through that gallery. I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that here. It's opened a lot of doors for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's very important to have the right people around you and have the support,
Yeah.
that's really goes a long way. Um, so okay, I have a short video here. We can. So this is how you work, right? You sketch. I mean, these are the little pen here.
Yep, those are the pens. Those are acrylic paint markers. This video is speeded up, but the others you'll see are normal speed. Yeah, these I go on site or in the place. What I usually do is I create the composition. I use my phone. I point my phone at whatever it is to see, is this a good composition? I make it square shaped.
Okay.
Like, is that interesting? And that's how, rather than sort of sketch and whatever, I use that to look at it and see, is that a good composition? Once I figure out, yep, that's my composition, then I know what's in and what's out.
Hmm.
And I start to draw. And they are very rough. I draw, I just lay down big blocks of color and shape and refine, 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 and many layers. My paintings have many, many layers. Sometimes I will take something out altogether. So this picture, for example, is in a brewery near where I live. I had a lot of trouble with the foreground, what's underneath those tanks. And in the environment, there were carts and tubes and things that it was too much. And I struggled with that so much. And then I went back to work on it again. That stuff had all been moved, and there was a pile of grain bags. And I thought, this is incredible. And I could do it. So it's and again, just painting over and over. I've also started to adapt my technique a little bit with using brushes to create texture. I didn't do it in this one, but making like dots sort of with texture, and using acrylic mediums sometimes to water things down, or water. And I think I have one in here where I really did that a lot. But this, because it's a paint marker, the paint dries really quickly, and I can't mix colors the way you would with paint. So I have to find other ways to create the illusions that I'm trying to
Yeah.
create.
To add texture and everything. Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, as I said, I haven't tried it, but I mean, you do a wonderful job with this, and I can imagine how much time you have to spend and how much effort you have to put for each single of this
Yeah,
uh,
it's a lot.
to create. Yeah, and I saw you have a lot of cars in your work too, so that shows, your obsession with cars, probably.
I do like cars. I do
Yes.
like cars. I like them. And this one, this is part of what I love about the process is how the subject unveils itself to me. I don't know what it is right up front sometimes. But this one, I sit in this low camp chair. My easel was a piece of cardboard and I'm just sitting there painting. And I realized as I was painting, I was a few hours in, I realized that in the front fender, I could see a reflection of the Maserati that was behind me.
Oh, okay, see it here,
You can
right?
see it in the painting. And
Yeah.
then also it was on the fender, so you can see it twice. Um, but I didn't know that right away. And so there it was. I really made sure to capture that. And to me, that's what this painting is about. And this painting hangs at a brewery near where I live. And one of the bartenders who works there, I hear him tell everybody all the time, like, "Oh, look, there's a Maserati in the fender. Go check it out." The funny
Oh,
one.
very interesting. So yeah, I mean, it's the detail. It's quite astonishing to capture all the detail. And that doesn't happen from photo. If you just take a picture, you have to be there to see all
Yeah,
those detail, and that's the thing. And often you said you have to spend a couple of hours or a couple of time to go back and forth to see all those detail. And
yeah.
are you finish the whole process on a place, or you bring it back to studio for final touch up and
Oh, I bring it back. Um, I bring it back, and sometimes I use an ink wash, it's black acrylic ink, it ink with some medium and water. And sometimes I will like use that to create dark depth and shadow areas, sort of wash that over. And then I finish the pieces with wax, Dorland's wax, and that's what the surface is. So I always finish it up in the studio. Um, but the best one, my favorite ones are the ones that I think came out the best. I've done 99% of it on site.
yeah. Yeah, that's because as you said, things change, and that's the beauty of being there. You capture more detail when you are there rather than you just take picture and do it in a studio. And I love this little horsey here and the horse barn you captured. It's
Yeah.
really, I like it to see, how you find this subject and the environment overall that you capture this in.
And this one, I know I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is one where the spirit of the place, it means so much to me. This painting, that my experience painting there meant so much to me that I won't sell this painting. It's part my own personal collection now.
Yeah.
It's a rescue farm in Tiverton, Rhode Island called Forza Cavallo. Family runs this farm. You can feel the love of it from miles away. They take care of horses and goats and sheep and pigeons and cats and dogs, and it's beautiful, beautiful, well-kept place. And as I was working here, the families like working in the barn, people, they would come over and chatter with me a little bit, and just such a beautiful, these giant Frisian horses are coming up to me, sniffing my head, dogs sitting around my feet, and it's that life that really motivates me.
Yeah, and you capture it very nicely. And I see the light, I see the color and all tiny, tiny detail, even inside this little barn that you capture is astonishing. And yeah, I mean, when I check your website, this was one of the first that captured my
Uh,
attention. And I said, wow, this is nice. And not because I go to Bonn again a lot with my daughter, but also you feel it, you feel there is a life there. And because
mhm.
of that life. And I like because as you mentioned, you don't include the figures for any reason, but you put the mark there that there are a life within this
Right.
space, and that makes it quite interesting. and for people to see and use their imagination with all those tiny detail and what's going on behind the scenes. So that's, I think it's very quite lovely. And oh, so I go back. So this is another working space. So you capture not only landscape or places for, I don't know, um, living places for animal or human alike, but the working places.
Yeah,
What is about working places that kind of capture your
it's, you know, it's well, the people aren't in the pictures. The people create the spaces, and we all produce for each other.
attention?
I realize that so much of the work that everybody does, it's really serving other people.
Mhm.
And as I got working on this project, I've met people like this is the little general store in the town where I live in Little Compton, Rhode Island. I met people who live all around me, different walks of life, people who I've lived next to for a couple decades and never really talked to. And by that, they allow me into their space. I hear what's going on. I hear people talking, people come and go. We end up having conversations sometimes, and it's just connected me to other people in a way I did not foresee. And no matter how different we are in our beliefs or philosophies or whatever, there's some commonality we have by living in the same community, looking after one another. We care about art, we show respect for each other. It's been an enormous learning experience.
Yeah. And you make friends,
Right.
because people, I'm sure, stop and talk and,
Yeah.
learn about each other. So that's a best way to create a community, to create or to make friends. So a question about this particular painting. I see here, this is the finished one, or this one is the finished one?
The left.
The left. Okay, so this is the finished one. And
Mhm.
why you remove the foreground color? I mean, I see here you have the color on foreground wall, but here you removed it.
It's actually the background wall.
Okay.
That I struggled a lot because the environment is so busy. If you look on the right, there's so much going on, so much
Mm.
color, so many things. Well, I was like, what's really important about this picture and this space? And as I was working, I realized it's the mystery. What's important is the mystery of what's around the corner, right?
Okay.
So like, you can go down the aisle and there's what's around the corner.
Mm.
Um, and what's on that back wall really didn't matter. So it was a
Okay.
decision I made to kind of gray it out and make it not almost obviously not important. That's
Yeah.
not what's important. And this one, I entered this into a competition that the state of Rhode Island ran, and it was actually purchased by the state, and it's going to hang in the Department of Labor and Training. They renovated their offices recently, so in a couple of weeks we'll have an installation, and I'm so excited to have it, be part of the state's collection.
Yeah, that's I think a wonderful place for this to be, to shows like, people and working environment and all those, right? I mean, I think you made the right decisions, because when I'm checking the other painting that you're holding, again, I saw that purse or that bag hanging on the back automatically without paying attention to this wall.
Yeah,
But when I'm the
yeah.
finished one, I see this wall first and all those tiny detail and
Mhm.
the shelves itself. I think yeah, I mean I like it that you change, I mean you don't stay to, okay, this is what I create. And I mean many artists, include myself, we have a concept and we want to stick to the concept, right?
Mhm.
But some artists, they have a concept, but it's okay to adjust as you go and change your perspective, right? And see which is more important and prioritize. So this shows like, you prioritize your work. I mean, so you start and you said, okay, so which one I want to, and what's the message of work? As you said, like, the message, the mystery behind the corner.
And it's also with something with these complex environments that I like to paint in. At first, it's so overwhelming, so much, so confusing, so much going on. And I don't know what the message is. I don't know what's important. But what I find is when I'm working on these paintings, I hit this moment where it, like, I describe it as almost like, when you get some dental work done and then the filling, the Novocaine wears off and you can feel
Okay.
like this tingle and then it's
Yeah,
gone.
Yes, yes, yes.
I have that feeling when I'm painting where suddenly it's like, oh, I don't need to include these things. I don't need to include that. This part I can fuzz out. These are the important things. I want the
Yes.
eye to go like this.
Yeah.
It
Of
happens at some point in the painting. It doesn't happen beforehand. I can't.
Yes, you're right. As you work, then you notice how to prioritize because
Right.
now you're starting and you know which one is more important and which one is. It's not that they are not important. You prioritize which one come first or which one can go in a background. Yes. And I have another little video here and you capturing this
Yeah,
one.
and this one, you can see I just sort of tuck myself. I love to be close to my subjects and have some things right in the foreground. I can really study them. And this one, kind of the way it came out, they're like a little scary, right? Little spiky little plants. In real life, they weren't. They weren't quite so scary looking, but that's sort of what emerged for me. I wanted these like,
To show them close up because this plant, I forgot the name, but the close up are they have those little thorn
yeah,
on them. And are they tree also, or the trees just you just added to this greenhouse? Because I think it's
they're
beautiful.
they're bonsai trees, so
Oh,
they're 4 feet tall or whatever, up on
okay.
a table.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they are not crazy big because in the painting shows like there is a landscape and there are trees.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that, but you're
I,
right. It does look like
if
that.
you didn't put this video, I would didn't realize that's in greenhouse part of
Oh.
painting itself. But that's very interesting, to see like, from what you create what, you know. That's the beauty of being artists. You can be creative.
Hmm.
And yeah, and this is another one. So I guess you like to create or paint this close up, right? To see more
Yeah,
detail and it shows that you are really detail oriented in
I
the
am for better or worse. Yeah, but I do. I love to have something close and something far away too is my very favorite.
because it shows then you create the perspective when you
Yeah.
do the far and then you do the close and close at the detail. It create a perspective, and that's how your work become this kind of three-dimensional and more realistic when you add the perspective to it.
Mhm. It's interesting when a lot of people like you say, "Oh, it looks like a photo," and for me, I always kind of giggle inside a little bit because I think I changed so much, right? But the human eye, I think that maybe what you mean is something about it looks accurate, right?
Yes,
Looks
yes, yeah.
right. Um, it's also, it, it's also very not accurate,
Yeah.
right?
It's not about
Uh,
what you remove from this. It's about what you
yeah,
capture. What
right,
you
right.
capture, it's correct. It's like exactly like it was, right? So that makes it realistic or representational. It's what you capture,
Representational, yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
what you capture is exactly like what it is with
Yeah,
all the detail that you do. So when people like, for example, me and I observe something, I don't see the thing that are missing. I see the thing that are there.
mhm.
And what is there are good, right?
Right.
And they are correct. So, or representing what they are. Um, and that's your little mystery, like what you're not including, I guess.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, that's part.
Nobody knows but me.
Yeah.
Me and whoever's place it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of being artists. Is you don't need to capture all. You just need to capture the right thing or the thing you want, right? And that makes it beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this one, so when we were chatting before we started the recording, I pointed my camera out the window for you. This is the view kind of back that way, at the back edge of my property. There's a field back there, and earlier this summer I was looking at it, and there was like this purple, kind of just in one area, this purple color. So I walked up close to it, and it was these purple flowers, and I
Oh,
thought I have to paint it.
yes.
So I just sat there and painted it. And when I posted it on Instagram, one of my neighbors said, "Oh yeah, it's some kind of pea. These
Okay.
purple flowers, some kind of pea plant." And I just love it. I love the delicate little
Yeah, yeah, purple and
yeah.
beautiful, right? You capture the space nicely. And so,
This also in my back garden, and this one I think is kind of funny because so this one is my biggest one I've done yet. It's 2 feet by 2 feet. I feel like it's a mural. It's so huge. It's huge for me. And I was painting, and it was also a lot of rainy days. So when I started it, the wisteria was blooming, and you can see it in the left. And then the irises came out, and the wisteria kind of stopped blooming. And then a peony came out. It took me 3 weeks probably over dates. So
you
these
keep
things,
adding and adding and adding. Oh,
yeah, so these things don't all bloom at the same time where I live, but there they are.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you keep adding and adding and adding. So that's again, that's very interesting to see, all together, but they are not exist together. So you captured kind of like a time frame or
Right.
yeah, interesting.
And so this one is that same garden I just showed you, but what I wanted to talk about here is the sky. I'm trying to figure out how to replicate what I did. It's paint markers. Also sand. I use sanding. I sand the surface. I used acrylic medium and water and brushes, and I sort of tapped it with the brushes, different colors, and that's what I got.
Mm.
And I haven't been able to do it quite the same since, so I have to keep experimenting.
It just was a little accident, right?
Yeah,
Little accident.
yeah.
But it's really nice. I mean, so why you to change the sky? I see in a painting, in a picture or different. I mean, it's blue sky. Why you try to create this sky? It was something that you're trying to, capture or represent.
No, no, it was an accident. I sort of start, the sky it wasn't flat blue. Had different colors in it. So I just sort of started, and th this is what I ended up with. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this painting be more foggy than it actually is today. And that's what I ended up doing. And it's an interesting one because my nieces and who live near me, they saw this and they're like, it looks exactly right. They live across the other side on the other side of that stone wall. To them, this looks right. Feels right, even though, of course, the sky never looks that way.
Yeah.
But there's something about the even though the sky is not realistic, it helps create that feeling of place.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's like a foggy day and you see like, the background, um, you know, you create that illusion. And one thing actually, because you often capture more, your work are more representative than this one, so it kind of stand out. Uh,
Hmm.
so when people are looking at it, say, oh, what was something going on in the sky? Maybe, a sunrise or sunset, with all those
Mhm.
little color. But yeah, keep trying. I'm sure you're gonna figure it out how this little accident happened. Yeah. I have a video here.
Yeah, and then so this one, yeah, that's it, just that short little clip. I paint a lot in greenhouses. It's a great thing to do during the winter because I like the plants so much. This one is one of the places I paint the most. It's Ragged Island Brewery in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. They're so good. It's beautiful. They have this amazing greenhouse. This one it's called pitcher plant, which is that plant that's in the lower middle. But what really to me about this one, it's the big ball. It's a lamp, it's a light fixture, but to me it's like the moon or like a fortune telling ball, crystal ball or something like that.
Yeah. I was wondering what is that hanging there?
Yeah,
That's
yep, light fixture.
yeah, light fixture. Wow, very interesting. So the greenhouse, I mean, often you paint the greenhouse in winter time when you don't have option to go in outdoor landscape, right? And then you capture
Right.
it. But again, I mean, if you don't see the little, setup you have here, you won't feel you're outdoor, you're indoor, right? Of course, this one
Yeah.
you see a little bit, structure in there. background, but often, the way you put things together or you delete the thing you don't want, you don't include the thing you don't want, it doesn't actually make that, shows that you are indoor or inside
Mhm.
a greenhouse. But yeah, I mean, and another thing, often most of your work are square. Is there a reason you do square, like 12 by 12, 24 by 24?
I'm a square person.
It's just how you like a square. Okay.
I started doing the squares a year ago, or a little more than that, for that Newport Art Museum, the wet paint auction, and I just stuck with it. I just love it. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I mean, a
the
square, a square in symbology means stability, means home, right?
Oh,
So, and when for me, that I'm into symbols, when I saw your work and I saw often a square, I feel that, and I check your work and I see you work, you do a lot of space, a lot of
mhm.
you painting a lot of space. I my interpretation was because you like home, you trying to capture these places are home, right? So that was my analysis of your work and the dimension of your work, which they were a square.
Yeah, I'd say that's
So
accurate.
maybe you have that feeling because you painted a lot of
Yeah.
spaces, work spaces, living spaces, animal barn, and so on. All of them are home
Hmm.
for somebody, and so
That's
that
right.
really makes you. So from now on, because you like painting home,
You're
but
right.
painting square. So that's it. That's the beauty of, being obsessed with symbols and
I
so.
appreciate that because I have no knowledge of symbols.
All right, thank you, Erica. We really enjoy our conversation. That was awesome to see your work and beautiful spacing and all those capturing the moment. And we really appreciate it. Do you have any word or last message or message or advice for our fellow NOVA's member?
Um, Last words, I just want to thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to think about my work, to talk with you about it. I appreciate being part of NAWA. I want to thank one person in particular, Jill Law, who encouraged me to join NAWA. And in terms of advice, oh God, I know I don't. I have no advice for anybody.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Just do
Um,
what you love, you
do
know?
what you love, absolutely. And you never know what will come out the other end.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. And this is, I believe, your coming exhibition, right? In September 20.
Hmm. Yep. And in September, October, I'm doing in a duo show in Newport, Rhode Island. So anybody who's anywhere in the area, I would love to see
Yeah,
you.
yeah, thank you. Yes. Hopefully we can, if I drive through or pass by, I definitely stop by. Thank
All
you,
right.
Erica. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Farron.
And again, we all really appreciate your work and hope to see more of your work in future.
Thank
Take
you
care.
so much. Take care.